En el video de hoy veremos a los jugadores más top del tenis elegir quién es el GOAT de todos los tiempos. Sin más dilación, vamos allá. Nick Kyrgios.
You know, I'll always saw Roger as a pure tennis player, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, but when it's all said and done, no back will have the stats. I mean, I wasn't surprised when I saw, Rafa, pretty much easing through the draw at the French Open. That's his backyard. He loves playing there. I think he's lost 2 matches there in his entire career. And honestly, in my opinion, I don't think we're ever going to see anything like that ever again in the sport. Honestly, like someone's so dominant on one surface, and pretty much he's right there with the greatest of all time. Now, you could argue he is the greatest because, in my opinion, I've played all 3 of them, all 4 of them. I think Andy Murray's right up there as well. But you look at Federer, he's the most dominant player, of all time. But in this era, it's actually Rafa. So it's a debate that you could have. A lot of players would tell you Rafa's the GOAT, Novak's the GOAT. But in my opinion, I think Federer is still. I think he's almost like a Jordan status type thing. The things that he was kind of the main guy that was, so dominant on every kind of surface. And I think the way he plays the game is something special. He's so aggressive. But Rafa is, man, there's something special. I don't, not for once, I'm very different, and we've had our differences as well when we've played each other. We're fiery, we're competitors, we're going to go at each other. But at the same time, I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's an absolute champion. 20 Grand Slams, ridiculous. I don't think we're ever going to see it ever again.
Alexander Zverev.
Back from ESPN. What is your perspective on the history that he has an opportunity to make on Sunday for both the year and his career?
Yeah, I think it's great for the sport. Nobody thought that anybody will do it again, what Rod Laver did. So to see him have the chance on Sunday, and I do believe that he will do it, is great. He's breaking every single record that there is. If you look at the stats, if you look at the pure game of tennis, he's the greatest of all time, and nobody comes. Nobody is there with him because most weeks world number 1, most Masters 1000 titles, most likely going to be most Grand Slams at the end of the day, and he has the chance of winning all 4 in the same year. How do you compete with that?
Okay, last question in English.
I have to say one thing, because for me, there's nobody in the world that should be respected more than Novak, in my opinion. And I think sometimes where he came from, what he's achieved, he's the greatest player of all time. And I think, people forget that sometimes. And I think that everybody should appreciate that for once.
John McEnroe.
Enough of who is the GOAT? John McEnroe, I'll start with you.
Well, I think Murray said it just right. I don't think you're going to see it again for generations to come. I think Kyrgios was absolutely right for a change. I'm just kidding, Nick. But, the most beautiful, most elegant player, the Baryshnikov of our sport, greatest shot maker I ever heard. But I also agree that when all is said and done, when we're counting the majors, you're going to see this man, Novak Djokovic, is going to have the greatest record and a winning record over both guys. And so, it's who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? The beauty of the 3 guys we've been watching is that they've been playing at the same time, unlike some of the other sports where it's harder to compare. So it's been quite an extraordinary time. I thought I was part of a great time back in the 80s, and it was Borg, 70s, 80s, Borg, Connors, myself, Lendo. Seemed like a magical time. This is taking it, obviously Sampras had the 14, Agassi was amazing, but this is like a whole new level that no one expected. So we have to enjoy each and every moment since Roger seems to be the first to go. Patrick, shouldn't we call him the greatest of all time? Doesn't he deserve that at least temporarily?
I think to me, he's still the greatest I've ever seen on this surface in his prime. When he's at his absolute best on grass, I would take Federer over anyone. That would include Djokovic at his very best, at least on this surface on a grass court. But there's no doubt that Djokovic is on his way to being the clear-cut greatest of all time, because these players in this day and this era, it is about the numbers. It is about racking up the big titles. Djokovic is not only doing that in the majors, but in the other events as well. And as John said, he's got the clear edge in head-to-head over both Rafa and Roger.
Daniil Medvedev.
As you said, what you accomplished this year and throughout your career. I never said this to anybody, but I'll say it right now. For me, you are the greatest tennis player in the history.
Francis Tiafoe.
I'm still going Rog. I'm still going Rog. Like from like the whole, to paint the whole picture with it, right? Stupid on all services. Could play all the shots. Made the game look so easy. Great ambassador for the sport. He's got his aura with him, man. Like you're like, damn, that's fed. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Serena's got it. Some people got that shit, man. It's like it's crazy. Like you're like, this dude is special. This dude, he's like that.
Casper Ruud.
Oh, it's very tough, tough question, but my personal favorite has always been Rafa, because I watched him for so many years, and that's even the first memory I have of watching TV is him winning his first Roland Garros. I still remember, you know, he's playing sleeveless against Puerta, I think, in the final, yep. And running around like a maniac and, you know, getting every ball back. So that's like the first memory I even have myself of watching TV and thinking myself when I was 6-7 years old that I would like to be on the screen myself. So in a way, he's the one who started my motivation for tennis. So it's tough for me not to say him. I think when we look at the slams, it's all even. Let's see what happens after this week. But when it comes to all other records, it's, you know, you can't deny that Novak maybe has a couple of more records than the other ones. But for them, it seems like the Grand Slam count is the ultimate thing that they want to achieve. And I think they've all kind of approach it differently. I've seen Rafa say that for him, you know, I don't think his happiness depends whether who has the most in the end, but I'm sure that when he plays the final tomorrow, he will have in the back of his mind that this is a good chance for him to maybe get another one.
Andy Murray.
None of their careers have finished yet, so I think obviously have to wait and see what happens. But I mean, all of them have for me, the fact that he's won every Masters series twice, is that right? Yeah. And he obviously, yesterday won every slam twice as well, which, you know, for him is something that obviously stands out as, you know, where you could make that argument, well, you know, that is incredible what he's done. And then like with Rafa, you would then look and go, well, you know, on clay, he's won 13 French Opens. You know, that's the most that anyone's won at a single slam. That's, you know, that's incredible. You know, and then with Roger, you know, he's been doing it over multiple kind of, you know, generations now. He's still able to compete at the highest level at 39 years old, and you know, his record and results on grass are unmatched. So I'm not that fussed about who is the best. I think there's no doubt that it's been the best era in tennis history, and I know people said the same thing, like when Sampras won 14, it was like, God, you know, I don't think anyone's ever going to beat that, or it's going to take, you know, a long time for someone to beat a record of 14, and then you've got three guys that are probably going to win 20 plus majors in the next generation. So it's incredible what all of them have done. You know.
Matteo Berrettini.
He used to it, or he played. I saw stats how many semis he played in his life. Like he just like I said at the beginning, probably the greatest ever. So I mean, there is nothing. There is not a lot you can do. I mean, right now there is not a lot I can do, but the goal is like to be ready next tournament.
Andy Roddick.
At the end of the 2011 season, you were on that list at 94. What do you think about the whole GOAT conversation?
Frankly, I mean, when it pertains to, you know, Serena and the women's side, and that's a little clearer. There seems to be this need to discuss the greatest of all time on the men's side. And frankly, at this point, I think it's kind of dumb. it'd be like handing out Oscars before you watch the endings of a movie. You know, it just doesn't really make much sense. And if you say one person, then the other two people feel disrespected. It's just too early. And before it all plays out, at a certain point, someone will say, "Who do you think is going to finish with the all-time lead?" And I'm going, okay, I'm either guessing or I'm obviously a medical professional and I can predict injuries from here on out. So, listen, I just think we're lucky to still have Novak, Roger, and Rafa still in the game. Hopefully Murray gets back into it. But it's premature, and I know everyone likes to go to this conversation nonstop. But, you know, I just think it's too early, and there's too much wasted breath on it at this point.
Stan Wawrinka.
And Federer is tough to play because he's unpredictable, or why is he tough to play for you?
Everything, because he's Federer. First, because his game is I think his game is completely different style than Novak. He push you more. He puts you under pressure all the time. You don't really know what to expect. He's so aggressive. He changed a lot. So that's already, for my style of game, something tougher than to play someone who always plays the same ball. And because who he is, he's he's the best player ever so far, and he's been winning everything. He's been beating everybody, and always been, not only because it's him, but just because he's better than the other player and better than me.
Hermano, hasta aquí llegó el video de hoy. Si te gustó, suscríbete y dale like porque tu apoyo es muy importante para nosotros. Golpea de revés a la vida y no te pierdas el video mostrado en pantalla. Es tan divertido que si no lo ves te puedes arrepentir.